Welcome back, families. We're so excited to have you here for another week of At Home with APS. My name is Miss Rachel, and remember that I teach first grade phonics. So I was here with you 2 weeks ago, and we were learning about blends. We're going to continue along with that today. So I want to remind you that it's good to warm up in the morning a little bit and get your body moving. So I thought we could do some vowel stretches again. Do you remember how to do those? Good. We're just going to make some uppercase vowels with our bodies and try to get our brains thinking a little bit about phonics today. So we'll think about the short vowel sounds first because we're going to be practicing our long vowel sounds after. So let's think about that letter A again. Do you remember how to make that with your body? I like to stand really tall and straight and stretch my arms up high. Maybe while you're here, you can think about words that have A in them, like apple. I know A says ah. Good. Okay, let's do the letter E. This is one of my favorite ones because you have to balance a little bit. So think again about what does an uppercase E look like? Okay, so I'm going to stand on one leg and kick out my other leg to make the letter E. Good. E says eh. Great. Okay, let's do letter I. This is a nice, tall, lengthening stretch. I know I says eh. Stretch up as tall as you can. Good. Okay, next we'll do letter O. O says ah. Can you think of some words that have the O sound in them, or ah? Thinking about home, no. Good job. Okay, and then our last vowel stretch is going to be the letter U. Okay, so for U, we're going to have our goalpost arms kind of stretch out to the side a little bit. U says like up. Great job, friends. So today for our lesson, really all you're going to need is paper and pencil if you choose to follow along with me. This is a great lesson too where you can just follow along by saying things with me and tapping out words. So you don't really need many materials. We're going to warm up our speech a little bit with our long vowel sounds and then our glued sounds. Okay? So remember, for first graders, it's really important that by the end of first grade, you can recognize long vowel sounds and short vowels, and that you can read words with blends in them. So that's our focus today. I'll say the letter keyword sound, and I want you to repeat me, okay? Let me get my pointer. And ready? A, safe, A. E, Pete, E. I, pine, I. O, home, O. Great job. I think you could be even a little bit louder. Ready? U, mule, U. Good. And if you remember from a couple of weeks ago, U has two long sounds. U like in mule, or oo like in rule. So let's try that last one. U, rule, oo. Great job. Now, here we've got what's called our glued sounds. They're a vowel combined with two consonants that make a blend. So let's practice the letter keyword sound for these. A-N-G, fang, ang. I-N-G, ring, ing. O-N-G, song, ong. U-N-G, lung, ung. Good. Okay, and let's go to the other side. Notice that there's kind of a pattern here, right? We've got some of the same sounds, but our ending sound on this side is different. So we're going to hear kind of a harsher k sound. Ready? A-N-K, bank, ank. I-N-K, pink, ink. O-N-K, honk, onk. U-N-K, junk, unk. Nice job. You guys are getting so good at those sounds. Remember to keep practicing those because we want those sounds to be really automatic for you. That way when you're reading, you don't have to decode the word as much. You can start blending some of those sounds together. So I thought next we would build some words that have a blend in them. Like I said, a couple weeks ago, we practiced words with blends at the beginning. Today we're going to think about blends that come at the end of the word. So we're going to notice two consonants side by side. That makes a blend. Now, if you're working with me at home, remember you could build these words if you had cut up some pieces of paper with letters on them. You could write them, or you can just practice reading the words with me. There's lots of ways you can participate. So I'm going to think about the word band. That was the first word I wanted to build today. Like, if I were in a band, I would play the drums. What instrument would you play if you were in the band? Great. So when we build words or spell words, it's important that we try to say the word out loud and then tap the word out or stretch it so that we can hear all the sounds in that word. So I want you to say that word with me. Band. Great. Okay, and let's tap that word out. I'm going to use my arm today to tap so I get a little bit more movement. B-a-n-d. That ending sound was a little bit tricky because it's got the blend there. So we'll have to pull that apart when we get there. But I'm going to start at the top or the beginning. And I hear B. What letter says B? B. Okay, let's go to the next sound. B. A. I know that sound. A. Good. Okay, now let's pull apart that ending sound a little bit more so we can identify the letters in the blend. B, A, N, D. Okay, I hear N, D. N is N, D, D. Okay, and now let's read the word. Ready? Band. Great job. Okay, we'll put these letters back and let's try another one. B, A, N, D. Okay, next I was thinking about the word lost. Like, I lost my favorite toy. Okay, let's tap that one out. This time I want you to tap with me, okay? Get your arm out nice and straight. Ready? L, A, st. Lost. At the beginning, I heard the sound oo. Ooh, that's the letter L. Okay, then I heard ooh, ah, O. Okay, and we'll pull that blend apart again. Ooh, ah, st. S, T, T. Good. And let's read the word. Ooh, ah, st. Lost. Do you see the blend in this word? It's right here, right? We've got our two consonants side by side. S and T. All right, let's spell this one back. L, O, S, Okay, let's do one more. Okay, this time I want you to think about how to spell the word before I build it, and you can check my work, okay? This word is going to be sent. I sent a letter in the mail. So think about that word. Tap it out with me. Sent. Sent. Good. And now think about the letters I'm going to use. I heard 4 sounds. You think you've got it in your brain? Okay, let's check our work. Ready? S, S, E, S, N, T. What are the letters in that blend? N, T, T. Sent. Sent. And again, our blend is at the end of that word. N and T. Great job. S, E, N, T. So now that we've built some words with blends in them, I thought we should read some words with blends. And I'm going to need your help with this because we're going to sort some of these words. Get our letters out of the way. Because I wrote a list of words that have blends in them, but some of them have beginning blends and some of them have ending blends. And I thought we should sort them by the beginning blends or ending blends. So here's my list of words, and then we'll write them over on that chart together. Again, you could write with me at home if you have a piece of paper, or you can just practice reading the words with me. It's your choice. Let's start by reading the words to get familiar with them, and then we'll put them on our chart. Ready? This word is flag. Flag. Good. We'll move down. The next word is junk. Junk. Oh, that's one of our keywords, isn't it? I see our glued sound right there that we practiced before. Ing. Ring. Another one of our keywords. There's our glued sound for ing. Okay, this word, a little bit trickier. Trash. Trash. Very good. Okay, we'll move here. Step. Step. Great. Okay, here I see a digraph at the beginning. CH, I remember, says ch. Ch. Chomp. Next. Next. Very good. Okay, one more to read. Loft. Loft. Nice job. So, like I said, now I'd like to sort these words. On this side of my chart, we'll write the words that have beginning blends. And on the other side, we'll write the words that have the blend at the end. Okay, so we're going to be hunting for consonants that are side by side. Let's look at the first word here, flag. What consonants do you see side by side in that word? I see F and L side by side. That comes at the beginning of the word. So we'll write flag on this side of our chart. Flag. Good. The blend is here at the beginning. I'm going to underline those letters to show that I found the blend. And then I'll cross that off on my chart. Okay. Next, the word was junk. Do you see the blend in that word? N-K. This time it's at the end of our word. So I'll write that word on this side of our chart. J-U-N-K. And again, I'm going to underline that blend so I can show that I found it at the end of my word. Okay, our next word is ring. What side of the chart do you think that's going to go on? You got it. It's going to go at the end because our blend is N and G. So I'll write that on this side of our chart, ring. R, I, N, G. And I'll underline my blend again. Okay? Okay, this next one's a little bit tricky. The word's trash. Do you see a blend in this word? Careful, because I see consonants side by side at both the beginning and the end. I see T and R, and I also see S and H. So which one's the blend? Let's break this word apart maybe. T, R, A, sh. Oh, that SH sound is one sound. That's a digraph. So our blend is here at the beginning. T, trash. So we need to write that on this side of our chart. T, R, A, S-H. Good. I'm glad I didn't trick you. So here I'm going to underline our blend to show it's at the beginning. Okay. Our next word is step. What side does this go on? You got it. It goes at the beginning. So we're going to write it over here. S, T, E, P. Step. And our blend was S and T. Nice work. Okay. Oh, I've got another tricky one here because I see a couple places where it looks like there can be a blend. Let's really look at this word here. Chomp. Just like the last time we had a tricky word, I think it's helpful to tap it out so we can find the blend. Ch, a, m, p. Chomp. So again, I see that CH was trying to trick us. That's really a digraph, right? It makes one sound. So our blend comes at the end of this word. Ch, a, m, p. So I need to write it on this side of my chart. CH, O, M, P. Chomp. Good. Okay, just a couple more to go. This word is next. Where do you see the blend in this word? I see it here at the end. X and T. Those are our consonants side by side. So I'll add it to the ending side of our chart. N, E, X, T. And I'll underline my blend. Good. Okay, last one. Can you tell me where this one goes? The word is loft. Where do you think I should put it? Great job. It's an ending blend. L, O, F, T. Wow, you guys are super readers. Thank you so much for helping me sort those words out. Now, the last part of our lesson today, we are going to work on some new sight words. So when we were together a couple weeks ago, we made a little sight word booklet. And we recorded all of the words that we've learned about. I've got 3 new words for you this week. We'll add them to our book on Monday together, but if you'd like to do that today, that's okay too. Today I'm just going to introduce the words and we'll practice reading them and skywriting them. My words are kind of special this week because they have a very similar spelling pattern, okay? So I want you to look for that as I introduce these words. This is the word could. Can you say could? Good. Think about how to use that in a sentence. Like, could we play a game today? Yeah. So let's skywrite this word. Okay, remember, skywriting, you're going to want a really nice straight arm and make big motions with your arm so that we can get ready to write this word. Ready? C, O, U, L, D. Good. What was that word again? Could. Now, I'm going to keep that word up so you can try to identify the pattern here. Our next word rhymes with could. What do you think it is? Would. Very good. Could and would. So the only difference here is the beginning letter, right? It changes from a C to a W. Thinking about how to use this word in a sentence again. Would you play a game with me today? We can just rephrase our last sentence, right? Okay, let's skywrite this one. Ready? W, O, U, L, D. Would. Okay, and our last word, see if you can recognize the pattern again. This is the word should. Can you say should? I'm thinking about that same sentence I used. Should we play a game today? Okay, and I'm going to hold up would so you can see that pattern again. Again, just the beginning sound is changing. Right? We moved from a single consonant to a digraph at the beginning. So let's skywrite this word, starting with S. H. O. U. L. D. Great job. Okay, so I want you to look for these words today. Start hunting for them in books or maybe in newspapers. Think about sentences that you could use these words in. Maybe you could write some down. And then when we come back together on Wednesday, we'll practice writing that word and we'll also add it to our sight word book so that you can keep practicing with it. So today we did a lot of work. I hope your brains are warmed up. You learned more about blends and how to read them at the end of words. And you helped me sort a whole bunch of words. Next up, you'll see Miss Maggie and Miss Q, and they'll be reading a story and doing an activity with you. I'll see you again soon. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, literacy learners. This is Miss Maggie, and we're back again for another wonderful week with At Home with APS. Today, I'm going to be reading a wonderful story to you. It's about a little boy named Benny and the 5 pennies that he has. The book is called Benny's Pennies. It's by Pat Brisson, illustrated by Bob Barner, and published by Dragonfly Books. I wonder, what will this book be about? When I read, I ask myself questions. I ask myself many kinds of questions. For example, sometimes I ask questions to clarify what the author is saying. Sometimes I ask myself whether I agree or I don't agree with what the author is saying in the book. In stories, I wonder about the characters and what will happen next. My questions keep me interested in reading more of the story. Today, I will share my questions with you as we read this book. We will also practice reading some predictable text from the story for fluency. We will practice reading questions. Here is what we will practice reading. Will you sell me a... And I'll have some pictures here to support your reading. Remember that when we come to a question mark, you need to inflect your voice and turn your voice up just a little higher. This tells your audience that you are reading aloud a question. Practice reading this part with me. Will you sell me a... Let's practice one more time. Will you sell me a... Great job. Listen for that question in the story. You will read that part aloud with me, and I will give you a picture clue to help you finish the question. Benny's Pennies. Benny McBride had 5 new pennies. What should I buy? He asked. Buy something beautiful, said his mother. My apologies. That word actually says Mom. Buy something good to eat, said his brother. Buy something nice to wear, said his sister. Woof, woof, said the dog. Meow, said his cat. Okay, Benny said, I will. So Benny McBride, with 5 new pennies, strolled out into the morning sun. A woman was cutting roses. Her name was Mrs. Hill. Ready? I'm going to give you a picture clue to help. Will you sell me a rose? Try that one more time with me. Will you sell me a rose? Asked Benny. Will you sell me a rose for a penny? Yes, I will, said Mrs. Hill. Then Benny McBride, with 4 new pennies and a sweet-smelling rose, strolled on in the morning sun. A girl was baking cookies. Her name was Lucy May. Let's try this question together. Are you ready? Will you sell me a cookie? Try that one more time. Will you sell me a cookie? Asked Benny, will you sell me a cookie for a penny? A cookie for a penny? Okay, said Lucy May. Then Benny McBride, with 3 new pennies, a sweet-smelling rose, and a soft, warm cookie, strolled on in the morning sun. A boy was making hats. His name was Michael Bess. Are you ready for the next one? Let's read the question together. Will you sell me a paper hat? Try that again. Will you sell me a paper hat? Asked Benny. Will you sell me a hat for a penny? Oh, yes, said Michael Bess. Then Benny McBride, with 2 new pennies, a sweet-smelling rose, a soft, warm cookie, and a fine paper hat, strolled on in the morning sun. A butcher was cutting meat. His name was Mr. Hopper. Ready for the next one? Here we go. Will you sell me a bone? Try that one more time. Will you sell me a bone? Asked Benny. Will you sell me a bone for a penny? You're quite a shopper, said Mr. Hopper. Then Benny McBride, with 1 new penny, a sweet-smelling rose, a soft, warm cookie, a fine paper hat, and a big, meaty bone, strolled on in the morning sun. A man was catching fish. His name was Mr. Beale. Are you ready for our question? Here we go. Will you sell me a fish? Try that one more time. Will you sell me a fish? Asked Benny. Will you sell me a fish for a penny? It's a deal, said Mr. Beale. Then Benny McBride, with a sweet-smelling rose, a soft, warm cookie, a fine paper hat, a big, meaty bone, a floppy, wet fish, but no new pennies, strolled home in the morning sun. I wonder what he's going to do with all of those objects. That's an interesting thing to think about. I think I'll read on. he called, and I bought what you said. It's beautiful, said his mom. Good, said his brother. I like it, said his sister. Woof, woof, said his dog. Meow, said his cat. Thank you, Benny, they all said together. You're welcome, said Benny McBride. What kinds of questions could I have asked while reading this story? I could have asked questions about the character and what he was doing in the story with his pennies. As I was reading, I could have stopped on different pages and asked, what will Benny spend his next penny on? Or I could have asked, who will he buy these objects for? These are the kinds of questions that keep a story interesting. Literacy learners, you can ask yourself questions too, so you can check your own understanding as you read stories as well. Not just with this one, but with any book. So let's think back. What are the things that Benny bought with his pennies? He bought a rose. He bought a rose for his mom. A cookie. He bought a cookie for his brother. A paper hat. He bought a paper hat for his sister. A bone. He bought a bone for his dog. And finally, a fish. He bought a fish for his cat. These are all things that we call goods. Can you say goods? Goods are things that you can buy. You can use pennies, like Benny did in the story, to buy items like these. You might see that when your family is out shopping in the community. I hope you enjoyed this wonderful story. Up next, Miss Q has a fun, exciting activity to connect to our story for today. Stay tuned.
Good morning and welcome back. I hope you enjoyed Miss Maggie's story about Benny's pennies. And I thought today we could talk a little bit more about the rest of the coins that weren't mentioned in the book. So the first coin that Miss Maggie mentioned in her book was penny. I hope you can see this picture of a penny. Have you ever had pennies of your own, like Benny, and he was able to spend his penny? This is a penny. I like to call it the head of the penny and the tail of a penny. Have you ever played the game called Heads or Tails, and you can flip your penny in the air and see if it lands on the head or on the tail? That's a fun game that I like to play and see who wins. That's also a great way to solve an argument or a problem, to see maybe who gets to go first. So I noticed on this penny, on the head, is a face. Do you know who that is? Did you know that that is one of our presidents, Abraham Lincoln? He was our 16th president, and he's on the front of our penny, or the head of our penny. On the back of our penny is his memorial that's in Washington, D.C. It's kind of hard to see But there's also a date on every penny. Every penny's date tells you when it was created, when it was stamped at the United States Mint and made for us to be able to use. How much is a penny worth? Do you remember from the story? That's right, 1 cent. This penny is worth 1 cent. What would you spend if you had a penny? What would you buy? I don't know. I've never seen anything cost a penny other than maybe a piece of candy from a machine. But this penny can be added up with other pennies to make much more money. The penny is kind of special because the penny is also made out of copper. That's why it gets its pretty color, just like this, brown color. This is called copper. So the penny is kind of unique. I also have another penny here. I don't think you'll be able to see it, but it was made in 2019, and it has a different tail on it. This tail has a shield, but it still has the same head on the front. Check around your house and see if you have pennies with different heads or tails on them, because I think that they come in a lot of different ways. The next coin that I want to share with you today, I don't know if was in the story, but he's pretty popular. He's called the nickel. This is the nickel right here. Before his name was nickel, he was called the half dime. The dime will be the next one we talk about today. But this coin also has a head and a tail. Do you know who's on this head? His name is Thomas Jefferson, and he was the 3rd president of the United States. What about the tail? It's kind of hard to see. The tail of this coin has Thomas Jefferson's home on it. Did you know that? I would love a coin with my home on it. It also says that a coin is worth 5 cents. So 5 pennies could equal 1 nickel or a half dime. Now, the penny was made out of copper and it was brown. What do you think this one is made out of? This one is made out of silver, and it looks shiny and silver, just like you would imagine it to be. Now, you can also look really close, and you can find the date that this coin was made also at the mint. Now remember, the dime is worth 5. The nickel. The nickel is worth 5. See if you can find some nickels around your house. Now, here it is. The dime. Not the half dime, the real dime. This dime also has a head and a tail on it. Who's the head of this one? This one's trickier. This one is Franklin Roosevelt, our 32nd president of the United States. Do you know how much a dime is worth? 10 cents. That's why the nickel was a half dime, because 5 would be half. Now the tail of this one doesn't have a home on it or a building. It has 3 special images. The first one in the middle is the torch. And the torch stands for liberty, right? The Statue of Liberty holds a torch. One of these right here is a branch. It is the olive branch. And the olive branch stands for peace. And there's one more over here, the oak branch. And the oak branch stands for strength. You can also find the date on the dime. Now the dime is also made out of silver, so it's shiny as well. But the dime is much smaller than the nickel. And it also has a bumpy edge around the end, if you feel it. The nickel has a smooth edge and the dime has a bumpy edge. And you can see how much smaller the dime is than the nickel. Now the last coin I'm going to share with you today is called the quarter. This quarter has a head and a tail, but the tails of quarters often change. Every year they come out with a new coin at the back of a quarter. The one I'm sharing with you today is the New Mexico quarter. It has our state on it and the Zia symbol. The head of the quarter, do you know who that is? George Washington, our very first president. And on the back, you can find lots of different things. Like this one is the state of New Mexico, but you could also find a flying eagle. Or for 2020, they were doing Save the Animals, and so you could find different animals on the back of the coins as well. Now, this coin looks like it's made out of silver, and it is on the outside, but on the inside, it's made out of copper. I bet you didn't know that about the quarter. And the quarter is much bigger than the dime, but it has that same bumpy edge that goes all the way around. You can feel it. This coin right here has an island of Wisconsin. See if you can find quarters around your house and see what the head and the tail look like. See if they're the same or if they're different. Or you can even challenge somebody to a coin toss and see if you win with a head or if you lose with a tail. So much fun to play with money. Now I have 4 different coins here for us. The penny. How much was that penny worth? 1 cent. I have the nickel. How much was the nickel worth? 5. I have a dime. How much was the dime worth? 10 cents. And the last one was the quarter. Do you remember how much a quarter is worth? 25 cents. It's a quarter of a dollar. So how many pennies would it take to equal a quarter? 25, because a penny is worth 1. How many nickels would it count? Could you count to get to 25? 5. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So I would need 5 nickels to equal 1 quarter. And the dime, well, the dime couldn't double to make a quarter. And if you tripled it with 3, you would have too much. That's why you would need that half dime to come in and help you out to get to 25. So much fun learning about money. I brought a little poem here to share with you to kind of remind you about what we just learned about. It goes, penny, penny, easily spent, copper brown, and worth 1 cent. Don't forget that that penny is worth 1. Then it says, nickel, nickel, thick and fat, you're worth 5 cents. I know that. How much was that nickel? 5. One more page from my poem. It says, dime, dime, little and thin, I remember you're worth 10. How much was that dime? 10. And the last part, quarter, quarter, big and bold, you're worth 25, I'm told. Here is a fun poem all about coins to help you remember how much they're worth. I'm going to bring my friend up, Miss Rachel, and we're going to pretend that we have a store, just like in Benny's store. I have a bunch of things in my store, and I'm going to see what Miss Rachel would like to buy and if she has enough money to buy some of the things in my store. What would you like to buy, Miss Rachel?
Oh my goodness, it's going to be so hard to choose. I see that there are noodles. Can I buy the noodles, please?
You can buy the noodles. The noodles are worth 3 cents. Do you have 3 cents?
3 cents.
3 pennies.
Okay, yeah, I don't have a coin that's worth 3 cents, but I have 3 pennies. 1, 2, 3.
Perfect. She paid me 3 pennies, so I will give her my box of noodles.
Thank
you. I don't have to give her any money in return because she had the exact amount. Do you see anything else you would like to buy in my store?
Yes, I do, because I have some more money and I'm feeling really hungry today. Could I please buy the crackers next?
The crackers? I have crackers. The crackers are worth 4 cents or 4 pennies. I wonder if you have enough money.
I don't have 4 pennies. What else could I do? Can I give you a nickel?
You can give me a nickel. How much was a nickel worth again? Do you remember? 5. So if the crackers are 4 cents and Miss Rachel gives me 5, I'm going to give her also 1 penny back. So now she's paid me 4 cents for the crackers. Do you see anything else, Miss Rachel?
What do I want to buy? Oh, I know I'm going to need some dessert. I'm going to buy the cookies.
The cookies. Great choice. The cookies cost 5 cents. Do you still have that much money?
I have a dime. I know that that's more than 5 cents.
It is. How much was a dime worth?
I think you said 10 cents, right?
You're right. It is 10 cents. So I can either give Miss Rachel back a nickel or 5 pennies. And I don't have enough 5 pennies. So I'll give you back 1 nickel.
I remember you said that was a half dime.
A half dime, right? All right. Do you have more money?
I do. What is in the front there? Soup.
Soup.
I think I'd like to buy next. Could I have some tea, please?
Some tea. The tea is worth 2 cents. Do you have 2 cents?
I do. I have some of those special pennies you talked about with the shield on them.
Perfect. For 2 cents.
Thank
I will
you.
give you some tea.
Okay.
I have a few more items left in my store.
Next, I think I'd like to buy the beans.
The beans. My beans are worth 2 cents. Do you have 2 more?
I don't have 2 pennies, but I can give you a nickel again if you have change for me.
Now, a nickel was worth 5, and the beans are 2. So I think I'm going to give you 1, 2, 3 in change. Does that work? Is that right?
Yeah, I think so, because 2 plus 3 is 5.
That's right, 2 plus 3. So we've had all of these fun items that I could sell just by using some recycled things from my house. I wonder what other kinds of stores we could create, like toy stores or shoe stores.
That would be fun.
Fun it would be to make stores at home with your family and practice counting your coins with somebody at your house.
Yeah, I would love to set up a store.
And look how much money I earned by selling Miss Rachel some of my goods.
And I don't have much money left.
How much fun it was today learning about coins and sharing some fun with somebody at my house. We shared a poem, we learned a new story with Miss Maggie, and we practiced reading with Miss Rachel. We hope you had fun learning with us today, and that you can come back with us tomorrow for some more with At Home with APS. Have a great day.